Alrighty, fellas, you ready to talk some week 6 here this week? Are you ready to go, Wiz?
Yeah, I'm ready to go.
All right. Well, I know that the Ravens and Titans are playing right now, and I know that that's your two team, or your one team, I should say, in London.
Yeah.
Looking pretty good. I mean, I don't know. I mean, the Ravens ain't throwing the ball that well, are they? I mean, still not precise. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, it seemed like, Lamar's inconsistent. I think it's just his thing overall in his career, right? I mean, that's his overlying tone. Uh, he makes good plays. Like, he just made a nice pass right now to Mark Andrews, but it's just in there. Like, we should give our playmakers the ball, and I think it's something that we struggle with a little bit. Just get him out there in space. Lamar just accidentally overthrowing players every now and again.
Yeah,
But
yeah, that's for sure. But it looks like they got this game in hand with Malik Willis coming in, and I think they should finish the deal, don't you?
oh yeah, I hope so. I mean, we can't drop another one to the Steelers or something like that again.
you know it's bad when we beat you, Wiz. Come on. I mean,
Yeah.
geez.
No, I was telling you, I was like, man, we always play down. We always play down. I feel like that's just the story overall of Baltimore. So
Yeah. Oh, Pittsburgh does the same thing. They like to play down.
Yeah, yeah. It's an AFC North tradition.
Yeah, it is.
But we're going to be talking week 6, guys. I'm excited to dive into this stuff. And everyone that's listening, this is all open for trade questions, start sit questions, anything like that. So if you guys want to get involved in this, please feel free to comment, and we'll be happy to help you any way we can. Really looking forward to week 6 here. Is there any game in particular this week, Wiz, that you're looking forward to watching?
I think Seahawks Bengals gonna be a good game. See Joe Burrow look better coming back last week than what he has all year long. So that's something I'm kind of watching a little bit. Zach Wilson as well. I mean, he's played well the last 2 games, surprisingly. I think it's been a big shocker underliner. And he's playing against the Eagles, so it's gonna be a good defense matchup. See if he's gonna stay the same of playing good, or if he's going back to his old ways. So I guess those are like the 2 other games that I'm keeping an eye on, other than the Ravens. So.
Yeah, no doubt, man. And my big thing is, like, there's a couple games that are on this slate that I think could be sneaky high scoring. Like the Falcons and Commanders. Like, I think I could go one of 2 ways. Like, it could be really low scoring, or it could be really high scoring. I'm kind of looking forward to that game. I mean, as bad as it seems, I mean, I think that could be a pretty good game, don't you, Jim?
Yeah, I like that matchup this week. Desmond Ridder played pretty well last week. Yeah, I mean, it's. I don't think it's going to be super high scoring, but I am excited. I like Logan Thomas getting 11 targets last week. That was nice. Hopefully, Sam Howe and him are connecting on all cylinders again today.
Yeah, and speaking of the Commanders, and we brought this up during the Dynasty DNA show this week when we were talking risers and fallers. I mean, Jahan Dotson has not looked good for the Commanders. I mean, what do you think of Jahan Dotson, Wiz? I know we've never been high on him, especially through our whole process. And last year he looked fairly good, but this year it seems like, man, Hal don't go to him a lot, and there's something going on there. What do you think?
Yeah, so I think you guys also touched on it, but the Commanders are always like kind of cycling people in and out constantly. Their wide receivers, there's always fresh bodies coming in. Like Tim McLaurin doesn't go on the field, and Curtis Samuel gets there and gets the touchdowns. So I think just a lot of it is just personnel moves and changes that are just a little bit weird. I mean, Jahan Dotson's a guy that's been frustrating, right? A lot of the community was high on him. I was just kind of I probably said I was like kind of in the median a little bit. I was like, oh, he's probably a little bit higher than what most people think, but he had a lot of touchdowns last year, so we already knew that was going to go down to regressions. But I always thought he was a player that could get wide open. He just knew the field. He had a good sense of IQ, kind of like a Cooper Kupp or Puka Nacua, where he just knows where he needs to be to get open. And that's something that he kind of shined with, and it just hasn't really shown yet. So.
Yeah, so I'm going to ask you this. I mean, are you out on him, or is he someone that you're looking to sell, or are you trying to buy on the low? I mean, that's what I'm going to ask you both. Jim, are you out on Jahan Dotson? You going to buy, or are you going to sell? What are you doing?
Yeah, I'm out on him, man. I am at this point. I mean, Curtis Samuel's definitely the number 2 receiver in that offense right now as far as targets and workloads going. So I just don't, like you said, it doesn't seem like him and Hal have too great of a connection going on. And yeah, I think I'd sell him even at the low that he's at right now. I mean, I just don't see him being a a wide receiver 2 in fantasy or nothing like that.
Yeah, and the thing is, we talked about him being a great pot sweetener in a trade. I know I was working with someone on a trade last night on Discord, and I seen that he had him. I said, boy, this is a great piece that can maybe help you get a trade done when you're trying to sell to someone that's, at the bottom of the standings. They get a young piece. Maybe they can hope that he has a bounce back. So, Wiz, what are you doing? I'm curious with Jahan Dotson. Buying, selling, holding, what are you doing?
I mean, it kind of just depends what you can get him for, right? I mean, offseason he was going for first, maybe a little more than that. But I don't think no one's paying a first right now for Jahan Dotson. Like you said, most people are probably doing it as like a pot sweetener. So if I get him, depends on what pieces I'm moving to get on top with him. I mean, I'd be open to it. I mean, most I pay right now for pick wise is maybe a late second on the right team where I'm like maybe just a little bit of depth and like my running back situation is pretty solid. Anything like that. So I don't know. I mean, it just depends on price. But I'm not looking to acquire him right now.
Yeah, I'm on board with you on that. But moving into another game that I want to talk about here real quick is the Panthers and the Dolphins. We all know Devon Achane out, knee injury again. Raheem Mostert's going to be probably the guy again. I mean, how do you guys feel about Raheem Mostert this week, especially getting this juicy matchup? I think we're all on board thinking he's going to have a good day. But how do we think about him going, down the stretch here? I mean, is he someone that if you could get him cheap enough that you're targeting, what do you expect from him, Wiz? You like Raheem Mostert?
Yeah, I like Raheem Mostert. I mean, obviously you're only buying him if you're a contender. If you only have him on the roster if he's a contender. But I like also Chris Brooks on the backfield. He's I think he's a rookie. This is his rookie season. He's just kind of like a big bruiser type, kind of like Jeff Wilson, where they kind of do the same job. So I want to see what kind of usage they have with Ahmed Mostert and see if Chris Brooks gets sprinkled in there. But it's just an electric offense right now. It's one of the best offenses in the NFL, and you want to get a piece of it. So you want to invest any way you can. So.
Yeah, should be a high-scoring game again because I think the Dolphins should get the Panthers down pretty early, and they'll be throwing and playing catch-up. But, Jim, what do you think of Raheem Mostert? I'm curious.
I love him, man. He was my start of the week in the start sit-em. Like I said, I did mention that I don't think that beyond this season he's going to be a very big asset just because he's 31 years old. But he could have another year or two in him, I guess, after this. But still, I'm investing in Raheem right now. I mean, even with Achane there, he's still going to get, just about the same amount of work as Achane, if not more, even when he does come back. So I think, I'm all in on Mostert, man. I think that he's a very underrated running back, especially going into a redraft this year. He was down there,
Yeah.
I think he's worth his weight in gold right now at this point because I think he's going to have a really good rest of the season.
Running back depth so crucial, and I know Wiz too. I mentioned this during one of our shows. The thing is with running back, redraft especially, you can never have enough. I mean, when you're trying to win a one-season championship, and if you drafted Najee Harris, Damian Pierce, some of these guys, Ramondre Stevenson, some people wonder why people go zero RB, and this is why. You can get a Raheem Mostert late in a redraft league. You can get a Devon Achane late in a redraft league. People like that has put up points. So do you agree with that, Wiz? I mean, I kind of like the zero RB strategy. I mean, it don't work all the time, but it seems to work more times than it don't, doesn't it?
Yeah, I mean, definitely it does. It's just I guess it more matters about who you're picking up in there, like who's cuffs, and it's kind of just like a luck strategy. If you had Jerome Ford, you're looking real good right now with him. Same with Kyron Williams. Mm-hmm. And Justin Tucker just kicked another field goal, TJ. So
yeah.
All right. Yeah, baby. He's probably got 20 points on me today. I love it.
But yeah, so it all depends, right? I mean, DeAndre Swift was a guy that everyone was kind of down on, and then Kenny Gainwell blew up that one game. So it just all matters about kind of luck a little bit on zero RB. But if you could just get up all these wide receivers, and then when you need an RB, you can trade out those wide receivers for an RB, especially in redraft format.
Yeah, and redraft, it's nice. We're seeing it, man, injuries, people going down, this and that. But, hopping into another game here, Bengals Seahawks, and I know we were talking about this with Joe Burrow, I don't see Seattle really harassing him much today. I think what you're going to see, not quite to extent what he did to Arizona, but I do think he has a really nice day today because I think he's going to get a lot of time. And I think for DFS purposes, his value is really good this week. And if I have him, I'm firing him up in all formats. And I think Chase is going to have a good game as well. Do you agree with that, Jim?
Yeah, big time. Just after what they did to Arizona, they're starting to look like their old selves a little bit. And this matchup is not much better. I mean, Seahawks aren't real stout through the air right now on defense. So I think that it's going to be. I think the Bengals are probably going to win the game. I do. I think Joe Burrow and Chase get together for a touchdown. And I think Higgins is expected to play too, and I think he's going to have a bounce back.
Yeah, he's supposed to be back. And I mean, honestly, though, I don't know how much he'll be used. So that's why I'm not really getting scared off Chase. I think Chase is going to still get a bunch of targets.
Oh, yeah.
Do you agree with that, Wiz? With T. Higgins even being out there, he's kind of limited. Do you think Chase is going to get more work?
Yeah, I mean, definitely. I'm if I have Higgins right now, I'm probably not starting this week, especially with the rib injuries. I think he's going to be out there more like a decoy and running those routes to get everyone else opened up in the field, those clear routes. But it's definitely, I'm definitely like Chase, like he was targeted. He was like, give me the ball. And then we saw what he did, right? He set the record for Bengals for the most receptions in a game, which was huge for the Bengals. They ended up winning that game. Joe Burrow is looking better. He's looking stronger off that calf injury. And like you said, I don't think Seattle has a pass rush to get to him and make those pressures down the field, and make him worried.
Yeah, because I still don't think he's 100%. I do think he's getting better. But if they can keep him upright to where he's not running for his life and he's not under duress, I think he should have a really good day. But flipping on to the Seattle side of the ball, I mean, what do you expect from them today, Wiz? I mean, do you expect a big day out of Kenneth Walker, for example? I think Kenneth Walker could have a really nice day. What do you think?
Yeah, 100%. Kenneth Walker has been a guy that I wouldn't say he's like necessarily surprised everyone. But with Charbonnet coming in, everyone was worried about his usage of what's going to go down. But we already saw Kenneth Walker. He's kind of that big boomer bust, kind of like an Adrian Peterson in a way, where he would just get nothing. All of a sudden, he'd break off 60 yards and for a touchdown. And that's something that's like really dynamic about Kenneth Walker, and that's why he should be like a top 6 dynasty back right now if he's not already in your rankings.
Yeah, absolutely. And another player I want to bring up is JSN. We all know that JSN, he was definitely not been involved up to this point like we would have liked him to. We all kind of figured this would happen. I know we talked on the Dynasty DNA show that, he's probably not going to be involved as much as people would like this year because of the personnel that they have there. But I know DK Metcalf is a little banged up. Maybe, he does get an opportunity or two more than he has seen. It will be interesting to see. What do you think about JSN, Wiz? You think he gets an opportunity this week, a little bit more maybe than the last couple?
Yeah, I mean, I think this kind of like his redshirt year. I don't think anyone expected him to produce the way, anyway, like in the top part where you're drafting him, where he's ranked right now in Dynasty. But I mean, I don't think it's tough to say what game he's going to break out in, because I definitely think there's going to be a few games where he's going to just get hyper targeted and he's going to perform really well. It just depends on the matchup. I think there's a chance this game. I mean, I'm not going to start him unless I really need to. But with DK and Lockett there, and Noah Fant even getting involved kind of a little bit now in the offense, you just don't know when to start him, I guess, is like the tough thing about rostering JSN right now.
Yeah, it is. You really can't play him. I guess it's more of like if you have him, maybe this is a game to watch. Maybe he gets a little bit more of an opportunity with Metcalf being possibly a little banged up. But it will be interesting to see. And, it has been a little bit of a bummer because when you pick a guy that high, you expect instant production and you just haven't got it. But I think it's just like this. He landed himself in a pretty good situation. Just be a little patient. I mean, not every team has a Lockett and a Metcalf.
No, that's it too. I mean, Lockett and Metcalf, it's hard to get a whole lot of reps whenever you got those two guys in front of you, because Tyler Lockett, he's been a consistent receiver for years. He's never going to be a top 10 wide receiver, really, but I mean, he's always been right up there, probably the best number 2 in the league for quite a bit of time. But yeah, JSN, I think he'll get his chances, like Wiz said. Yeah. I think he's gonna have some big games, but like he said, it's hard to pinpoint when, because Fant's getting used as well. Yeah, just not a whole lot of reps there for JSN right now, but you never know, that could change.
Yeah, for sure. And we'll have to keep our eye on it. I mean, a player of that caliber, I think he's more of a 2024 guy, but I think if you did pick him, just be patient. I think you'll be happy. But another game I want to bring up here is the Lions and Buccaneers. Boy, Jared Goff just looks like a totally different quarterback when he's playing at home opposed to on the road. Wiz, I want to ask you this. How do you feel about Jared Goff this week?
Yeah, I mean, I think, I'm Amon-Ra St. Brown. It looks like Laporte is still a bit of a game time decision, but he's expected to play. So it's going to be kind of comes down to if he's going to be like, I think it comes down to what his targets and like his catchers, his receivers going to be, if they're going to be 100% healthy. Laporta being shaken up, so isn't, Amon-Ra. Jameis Williams didn't look that good last week. He dropped a lot of balls. It just doesn't look like he deserved to be a first rounder. So, I mean, a lot of it comes down to health, but I think it could be a sneaky high scoring game. Gibbs is out. David Montgomery's going to be getting the workload, which is even with Gibbs there, he still gets the workload. Doesn't matter. But I don't know. It's going to be an interesting game. I mean, David Montgomery, I think he's going to have a huge game again. He's going to keep progressing up that RB3 overall. Maybe get RB1 overall after this game. I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah. And I know Laporte is going to play with that calf injury. It'll be interesting to see how he operates, being on kind of a little bit of a bum wheel. So we'll see. But Jim, Jared Goff, I mean, touching on this offense, I mean, do you feel good about the aerial assault? Like, I'm with Wiz. I think David Montgomery will do okay today because he's going to see a ton of volume. But what do you think about the aerial assault Detroit going up against Tampa Bay? Like
you said, I think Amon-Ra is going to play as well. So I think with him and Laporte, even banged up, Jamison Williams, I like Josh Reynolds better. But I think that they have enough weapons that Jared Goff's not going to have too bad of a time today. I think he's going to throw a couple touchdowns at least. I'm not too concerned with the aerial attack today. I think that Amon-Ra is going to play, and I think Laporte is going to play. Laporte is going to play, and I think they're both going to, a lot of these guys are banged up, and then they come out and play like they're not hurt at all, man. So I think that it's going to be a good day through the air for the Lions.
Yeah, and the thing is, man, with Tampa Bay too, I know Mike Evans is going to go, so that's a good thing, especially for Baker Mayfield. I mean, no doubt his favorite target. So I think Tampa Bay is going to, sneakily score some points in this game too. So it's just something to watch. I mean, if you got Baker Mayfield for, a pair of used socks and a pair of used underwear at the start of the season, you could be thankful even as a quarterback 3 because he has been playing solid. I mean, I don't expect him to be a great asset in the future, but as of a now asset, if you're able to pick him up for next to nothing, he's been pretty respectable.
Right. We had this matchup on the Fantasy Feud, and I think I was the only one that took the Buccaneers. I think that they're going to get the W today. I still think that Goff's going to have a good day, and the Lions are going to score some touchdowns. But I think that with Mike Evans back, I think that Tampa Bay is going to get the W today.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see. I definitely think they have the capabilities of doing it. But I'm going to hop over here to this next game, Eagles and Jets. Wiz, I mean, the Eagles defense isn't like what we thought it would be. I mean, they're still playing solid. There's still stuff on the run. Now, there is no Jalen Carter today, so it's definitely something to watch with Breece Hall. Now, if you have Breece Hall, as talented as he is, would you sit him down this week against the Eagles, yes or no, if you had him on your roster right now?
I mean, the way Robert Saleh said that, he's no longer on a snap count. We saw last week that, he dropped 20-something points, I believe, in most formats. Zach Wilson's playing really well, which is surprising with Aaron Rodgers come back. And then Tajay Spears just broke off a big run or catch. I don't know. Took it all the way down inside the 5. But I'm starting Breece Hall and everything I have him right now. I think it's going to be a strong start. I wouldn't expect maybe the 20-point game, but I think he'd score at least double digits for you and help out your team. And really comes down to, can the Jets move the ball down the field without relying solely on Breece Hall? And if Zach Wilson keeps playing the way he has, I think that's a good possibility. Garrett Wilson's there. He has all these targets to be good. And we'll see what it comes down to.
Yeah, for sure. And I'll tell you too, man, when you have a quality of a player of a Breece Hall, this is why I want to bring it up. I just can't sit him. I mean, even though the matchups is tough, I mean, I always go by the golden rule. Your best players have to be your best players when you need them to be. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, if it just doesn't work out, don't work out, because it's easy to maybe go another direction. And then, Breece Hall does have, 16, 17 points. and you started a guy on a hope and a prayer that gets 4 or 5.
Yep.
So, I mean, how do you feel about that, Jim? Would you start Breece Hall no matter what?
Yeah. I have a couple shares of him, and I'm starting him every week. I mean, he's going to have those down weeks, I think, but at the same time, if Wilson's playing good, if he can continue producing a little bit, then that takes a little bit of the pressure off that run game. And I think that Wilson's kind of turning a corner a little bit. I think he can play better enough or good enough that Breece Hall is going to get his chances. And it's obvious that Dalvin Cook's not his old self at all. So Breece is their guy. And I think, you got to play him every week. I think he's had some tough matchups here early on. I think that it gets a little bit better towards the end of the season for him. I think he's gonna do well in the meantime, though.
Yeah, and he'll be more healthier towards the end of the season, which is never a bad thing. But Wiz, Cardinals and Rams, this is another game that I think has true shootout potential. I'm really interested in seeing what the Rams do this week with their full complement of weapons against a bad defense that we've seen Cincinnati and Jamar Chase and Joe Burrow just light up. I think Matt Stafford could be a really, really big time play this week. How do you feel about the Rams?
Yeah, I mean, definitely. I mean, we all saw last week, we had questions going into it. Is Puka going to be hyper targeted the way he was? And we already knew his usage was going to go down slightly with Cooper Kupp there because Cooper Kupp just demands a high target volume. But they complement each other really well, which is something that we like to see. So to answer that question of Puka, that he is worth the first still, even with Cooper Kupp there.
Oh, yeah.
And with, Arizona Cardinals has played way beyond anyone's expectations. Joshua Dobbs has looked okay, like decent enough. He released that video I saw on Twitter where he hit those trash cans far away. And he was like goalpost, and he hit the goalpost. And then everyone's like bragging. I was like, oh, you couldn't make those passes during the game last week and all sort of stuff. But it comes down. I mean, Mike Wilson didn't get any targets last week. All right, he got 1 or 2, I think, it broke up my parlay. I would have won some big money on that one. Had a couple more balls. But it definitely does have shootout potential, to answer your question. I mean, it's going to be interesting. Kyren Williams is going to have a little bounce back game.
Yeah.
Because he didn't perform well last week at all.
Yeah, that's it. And that's my big worry with Kyren. Like, I love Kyren, what he's been able to do. But with Puka, Cooper Kupp, Tutu Atwell, Tyler Higbee, we mentioned this on the Dynasty DNA show. Does he kind of get phased out a little bit through the passing game? And if he does, that will hurt him bad because he's a mainly reception type of back. That's his specialty. He's okay at running between the tackles. I mean, but one nice thing is he is going to see that ton of volume. He's going to be on the field a ton. But it will be interesting to see, like you said, does he have a bounce back, or do we see a pattern going forward, like with them not targeting him as much?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, I think he's definitely getting phased out enough to where he's not going to get near the past work that he did with Kupp back. Like Wiz said, Kupp demands a lot of targets. And, there was all those wide receiver duos talked about going into the season, Waddle Hill, Chase Higgins, all this stuff. And now that Cooper Kupp's back, Kupp and Nakua are
pretty deadly,
right up there towards the top, I think, of that list. And I agree with what you said about Stafford having a big day today. I think that I'm fired him up in a lot of my DFS stuff today. I think this is a great matchup for him. And I mean, after what happened to Arizona last week, it's going to be a high scoring affair, I think, for the Rams.
Yeah, for sure. But another game I want to hop into here is the Minnesota Vikings, Chicago Bears. Wiz, I think this game could be 70-70. There should be no defense on the field whatsoever in this game. I mean, I think it could get really, really high scoring. But I want to start on the Vikings side of the ball first. How do you feel about Jordan Addison stepping into this number one type of role and taking these targets with Justin Jefferson being out? Do you see him having a monster day?
Yeah, I mean, definitely. I mean, it's going to come down to KJ Osborne's been out there a lot. So I think maybe Osborne can see more targets than Jordan Addison. But it's just, I don't know. I mean, it really comes down to like what the Bears are going to do for defense wise. And Kirk Cousins is a really nice facilitator of the ball. He knows where to get it to. I think Hoxton's going to have a big day. Bears usually don't play that well against tight ends. So, I mean, and there's just gonna be interesting to see. It's gonna be a high scoring game. I feel like if it's not, then I think we'll all be shocked. I don't even know I'm curious what the over under is for that game.
Oh, it's got to be through the roof.
Yeah.
But if you were on the Viking side, Wiz, outside of the quarterback, Kirk Cousins, of course, if there was one skill player that you had to play in DFS over anybody this week, would it be Hawkinson? Would it be Addison? Who would it be?
I mean, Hawkinson's probably one of the most expensive tight ends going into the week. I have to imagine.
Yeah.
But I mean, I just don't see a world where he's not hyper targeted. He gets 12 some targets this week. And currently the over under is 44.5, which I feel like is pretty low. I feel like it's a pretty clear over. That's over to me. I mean, I don't know what you guys think. But.
Yeah, I agree. That's a juicy one there. I think that they're going to get over that.
Yeah, me too. And if I had to say this too, one other thing is I'm going to start with this too. The Alexander Madison Cam Akers situation in Minnesota. I mean, we kind of seen Akers involved a little bit. Now we know he just got there in Minnesota, just kind of starting to get familiar, get his feet wet. I still think this is Alexander Madison's backfield, but Jim, do you see a world where Cam Akers starts cutting in more this week?
I think he's going to cut in a little bit, but I still think Madison's going to out carry him or get more carries. I think it's going to be about he'll get about a third of the work, I think, on the rundowns. But yeah, it's Alexander Madison's backfield. I mean, I think he's gonna be the one in there on third downs. I mean, unless it's third and short, I think he's gonna get a lot of the passing work. Yeah, I'm not big on Cam Akers. I just never have been, and I don't think he's like a clear cut workhorse running back anywhere.
Yeah,
right now,
And after that torn, Achilles, I don't like that with running back. Seemed like he lost a step. What do you think, Wiz? You still think this is an Alexander Madison team?
Man, I wasn't high at all on Madison coming into the season. I don't think Cam Akers is that good either. When it comes down to, I don't know if you guys saw that crazy rumor. Allegedly, Kevin O'Connell knocked out Alexander Madison in practice with that 100-pound Skeptor thing where they tried to knock out the balls and fumbles and stuff. I guess he allegedly got knocked out. It made him questionable for the game. I don't know if it's true or not.
Yeah,
I saw that. I was like, "There's no way that's true," but I don't know. Maybe
funny.
That's the most Minnesota Vikings thing ever.
It is.
I mean, they have such a good team, and there's always stuff that goes wrong with them. It's unbelievable. If you're ever a Vikings fan, I feel for you because they always have good rosters, but it just seems like stuff like this happens. It's weird.
Yep. Who do you think wins? Who do you think wins this game?
Oh, I think Minnesota wins.
Yeah.
I do. I think it's going to be so high scoring, but I think that Minnesota's going to win, but I think it's going to be like 42 to like 38 Minnesota.
Yeah. What about you, Wiz?
I think the Bears take the upset. I know I made a bet on the money line for the Bears plus 140. So it's decent odds. I mean, it's -3 spread right now for the game. I can see the Bears just winning that game. I mean, they looked pretty well against the Commanders last week. Their defense kind of showed up and towards the end where Sam Howell started carving them up a little bit better. But I don't know. I think it's going to be a close game. Like it's going to be high scoring. So it's going to comes down to like how is Justin Fields going to play? And if he played the last 2 weeks, he has. I think the Bears could win the game. So.
Yeah, they definitely could. It could go either way. And I think for Justin Fields' sake and the Chicago's team's sake, they need this one. They need it bad. They can't keep going on these big losing streaks. But going over to the Chicago side of the ball, Wiz, that I'm not a big Justin Fields advocate. I haven't been all season, but he does get fantasy points. My only biggest worry is, will he be able to be the Bears quarterback going into the future and what happens to him after that? But I will say this. I do think he has a good day today. Do you agree with that? Do you think he has maybe the best day out of any quarterback this week, just points-wise?
Yeah, I mean, I think that's definitely possible with the run game and with the way Vikings defense is not very good. I thought the Commanders' defense was like pretty decent going into. I mean, I haven't really watched too much of their games. So that's what's on Red Zone. But their D line is usually pretty good, and Justin Fields was able to stay in the pocket, he had time to pass, and I don't know. I forget their offensive coordinator, but they realized they need to get the ball to DJ Moore and no one else, and it's working now. So just keep hyper-focusing DJ Moore, give some passes to Cole Kmet, you got to throw some to Darnell Mooney every now and again. Just keep him happy. Even if it's not catchable balls, just throw it over his way. And I don't know. It's just the Bears. This is what I saw going forward in the season, that DJ Moore is going to be that guy there. He's going to be hyper targeted, and it's starting to turn around a lot to like where DJ Moore's value is now just skyrocketing in redraft and dynasty.
Yeah, for sure. And Wiz, because and we even mentioned this. I mean, you go back to when we were talking in Dynasty DNA Fantasies podcast, fantasy football podcast around week 1, week 2. We said that you got to get the ball to Justin or a DJ Moore any way you can if you're Justin Fields. A bubble screen, reverse. I don't care what it is. He's one of the best yak guys in the league, but you got to get it to him. What do you feel about Justin Fields today, Jim?
I think he's gonna have a big game. I do. Like Wiz said, I love DJ Moore. I mean, he's the epitome of consistency, man. I mean, I like it, and he's finally getting all those targets, and he's doing a lot with them. Cole Kmet, I like him as a red zone target too, and I think he'll get a touchdown today. I think Fields has a big game, and then like Wiz said, on the ground, I think he's gonna have a lot of rushing work. The only thing I'm concerned, who's the running back that's gonna do anything for Chicago? Is it going to be Johnson or Foreman or
Johnson's out? So it's
is he?
Yeah,
it's Devonta Foreman. That's the guy in there right now, and I don't know who's their. I forget his name. I saw it up on. I was like going through the waivers, see if there's anyone on there. I forget his name. Never heard him before in my life.
I think this is why I think Justin Fields will have a big day, because he's probably going to do a lot of the running himself.
Yeah, you guys think Foreman has any type of good day in fantasy?
I think he'll be okay, but I don't see him being like, I don't know. Like, I could see him maybe in a world where he could maybe get lucky and rumble for a couple touchdowns if they're down inside the 5. But I think that's your biggest hope. I don't see him running like all over Minnesota. Like, I think you're just hoping, can they move the ball enough, get it down around that inside the 5-yard line type of deal, and just try to rumble in from there.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's Darrington Evans.
Oh, yeah, Darrington Evans.
Yeah. Oh, is it?
I don't know who that is.
He was played for Tennessee, I think, last year. He's a rookie. Yep.
Yeah, they brought him in. I don't missed someone in the body, I guess I should say. But we'll see what happens. The last game I want to touch on here real quick is the Colts and the Jaguars. And it's going to be interesting now. We just heard that Anthony Richardson may be out for the year with that shoulder injury, which is a big blow to a lot of people because he was looking really, really good right out of the chute. But I want to ask you this, Wiz. Jonathan Taylor's second game back. We know that they're trying to ease him in. Zach Moss has been tremendous for the Colts. But do we see Jonathan Taylor taken off this game, and do you think that he's going to get way more involved than last week?
Yeah, I mean, I think Gardner Minshew. I mean, he looked like a capable backup when he's throwing in there. It's just I think that they're gonna need to run through Jonathan Taylor to have any remote success. I mean, we saw Gardner Minshew. He beat the Ravens because we just like to take it easy on these quarterbacks that don't deserve an NFL starting job. But I mean, I don't know. I mean, if I was the head coach, I'd be like, yeah, we need to give the ball to Jonathan Taylor. We need to get him out in space. That's going to be some not bubble screens, but some screens out of the backfield. Just any way to get your playmakers involved. They did that well against Baltimore, where they just gave the ball to Michael Pittman. It was just screen passes, just short yardage, and let him do the work. And that's something there. So I don't really see any big play explosiveness coming from the Colts side of the field. It's going to be just a lot of just underneath passes and just doing something that Minshew feels comfortable with. But, I mean, he's had time to practice this week, so they might open up the playbook a little bit more. But, I mean, if I'm Jonathan Taylor, I think this might be the week where you could finally start starting him without worrying. And I think you still start Zach Moss. I mean, Zach Moss, he's been looking good all season long, which is something that we hope to see in Buffalo, but we just never saw it in Buffalo.
Yeah, he fits with the Colts good. And there's one other player on the Colts that I want to talk about. Michael Pittman's been tremendous. I mean, he definitely has done well. It seems like I don't know what kind of hit he's going to take with Minshew because I know Anthony Richardson hyper-targeted Pittman. He loved him. We'll see. I do think Minshew's definitely going to look his way. It's hard not to just throw it up to big Michael Pittman. But another player that I want to talk about, and we mentioned him on the Double Coverage DFS show, is a player that I really like that Minshew seems to like a lot, is Josh Downs. Yeah. I think Josh Downs could have a really nice day today. I think he's going to see a lot of targets coming from Minshew. What do you think of Downs, Jim?
Yeah, I got him playing in one fantasy league and on DFS. I think he's a sneaky play. Yeah, I love Josh Downs. I think he didn't have much competition to get past Alec Pierce. I mean, let's be real, but I think that he's a very capable wide receiver too in that offense. And it takes a little bit of the heat off Pittman now that they have somebody else that's getting targets and that can catch the ball and do something with it.
Yeah, just try to catch some stuff underneath, like you said, draw some attention away from Pittman. Do you like Downs too, Wiz?
Yeah, I like him. That's a guy that I don't really have many shares of because I was taking, Devon A-Chain, Tajay Spears, and Laporta ahead of him in most of my dynasty redrafts or my dynasty rookie drafts. So I have very few shares besides what I've acquired in startups or just like throwing pieces and trades. I think he has a nice upside, but I don't see it being much more like a wide receiver 3 in just overall. He's just kind of those guys that's just middle of the road pack where, you can start him every now and again, which is something that you need to have in fantasy to have that depth.
Yeah, I agree. But in the short term, I think with Minshew, I think this will be a good day against Jacksonville. But I want to go to the Jacksonville side of the ball, and I want to see what you both feel about this because this is the way I feel and this is the way I look at it. Trevor Lawrence, I need to see something today. I need to see something. I mean, I know this is a division game, and for whatever reason, he has not played his best at times against the Texans, the Colts, these division opponents. I want to see some results today. You agree with that, Wiz?
Yeah, 100%. I think a lot of it's not even mostly his fault either. Coming just watching. I mean, he's his wide receivers are not helping him out. They're not catching the ball in the red zone. I think he has I don't even know how many touchdown passes he has this season, but it's definitely down to where it shouldn't be for how many red zone throws he's made. So I think once Calvin Ridley gets more acclimated to the NFL again, because he took 2 years off. That takes time to come back, get used to everything. He's looked good in some places. He's looked like he doesn't know how to catch a football anymore. So I think once more and more playtime starts coming up, I think that offense is going to do a lot better. Trevor Lawrence is a guy that I've always been a little iffy on because everyone started ranking him real high up, which we have all seen the talent of why he should be ranked up there. It's just he's really, really inconsistent, which is something that we don't like to see with our quarterbacks that don't offer a rushing floor like Justin Herbert. I mean, not Justin Herbert, Justin Fields, like Jalen Hurts, Lamar Jackson. Those guys all have rushing floors to help out with their inconsistency with passing.
Yeah.
So it just really comes down to more so can his receivers start catching the ball as the play calling can get maybe a little bit better to help him to make those easier passes for wide receivers.
Yeah, I agree. It'll be interesting to see. Sterling just put on the Facebook here, Sterling from the Double Covers DFS show. Walker's projected to be next to unknown, so love him today in DFS. So you DFS guys, last-minute lineup builders, I would definitely look at that. And he also said Bengals have struggled mightily against slot guys this year, so this could be a Lockett day.
Yeah.
So something to look forward to, look at, and we'll see what Geno can muster with the Seahawks. So.
Right.
Yeah. I was going to say, do you guys know the usage for JSN? I was trying to pull it up earlier with the slot. Like, how often has he been lined up in the slot with the Seahawks? Because, if Bengals struggle against the slot, this could be the JSN game. It's that finally breakout game.
It definitely could be. And one interesting tidbit, though, that Andy mentioned on the Dynasty DNA show, I know, for whatever reason, they're running a lot of 2 tight end sets, Seattle is.
Yeah.
So I think that's why you haven't seen him as much on the field, even in 3 wide receiver sets. So I guess it just depends on what kind of personnel they want to roll. If Kenneth Walker gets going and they're really hammering them, maybe they'll keep more of that 2 tight end package in there. But if it is a little bit more of an air assault to where they are stopping Kenneth Walker to a reasonable degree, maybe then you'll see more 3 wide receiver sets. So
right.
It will be interesting to see. But I do think that if, JSN's out there, I bet he'll be in the slot more.
Yeah.
So that's a good bit of tidbit information. But, yeah, this is going to do it for this episode, guys, for Week 6. We like to do this every week. We're going to keep trying to bring it to you, and that's what it's all about. We appreciate all the support, the follows, the 5 stars, the good comments. If you have any questions on Start Sit stuff, you're always welcome to share that. I know the Dynasty DNA Discord channel, guys. I'll bring it up, and I'll always keep bringing it up because I think it's a great tool. If you're a fantasy football fan, content creator, whatever, you're all welcome to join us over there. It's a great platform. We talk starts, sits, trades, everything. You have access to people like me, Jimmy, Dynasty Wiz here. He's over there. He's the creator of the dang Discord, man. You got like the president of the Discord. You got direct connection to him. So
El Presidente.
That's right. And all you gotta do is just message us, guys. You can private message us. We're always happy to answer and help. And you can even put it right on one of the tabs. And there's other great people in there. I mean, they're all nice guys and they all know their stuff. They're great fantasy football minds. If you want to join the Discord, go over to the Dynasty DNA Twitter at DynastyDNA_. It's right in our description. The link is, you can click on it, join it. It's all free and you're all welcome. We'd love to have you, wouldn't we, Wiz?
Of course, the more the merrier.
Yeah. Let's keep blowing this thing up, and we appreciate it. And, we all like to mention, too, all the shows that we got going on weekly at Dynasty DNA. We got the main Dynasty DNA podcast that you get each and every week with me, Ty, Andy, and Muss. We've been delivering that to you for over a year now. It's a great thing. We love sharing all that with you guys. We talk about a plethora of topics on that. You got the Fantasy Feud with Jimmy, Ty, and Muss. The Dynasty DNA's own debate show where they debate trades, player values, this and that. So that's a really nice thing as well. You have the Fantasy Football Power Hour with the A-Train, Andy Blake, and Wiz was on that show with him. And you want to talk about a show where there's no stone unturned. There's always homework being done. They're all over that type of stuff over there. Andy is, and all the guests he has on, the great people like Wiz. And we got Stardom Sit-'em Saturday with me and Jimmy. And you also got the double coverage DFS show, which, I mean, if you're a DFS person, Sterling and Big E, I was on there with them this week. Them guys are legit, man. You want to talk about some of the best people in DFS, we got them here at Dynasty DNA. So you got to check out them shows. We appreciate all the support. This is going to do it for the Week 6 chat. We're getting ready for kickoff. We wish you all the luck in all your games, and we'll see you guys all soon. Talk to you later.
See ya.
Adios.